Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Today I've got a really cool fun fold for you. It's a split front card featuring the Sweet Citrus bundle. I love these Sweet Citrus. Be on the lookout for a stamp camp coming featuring this bundle. All right, let's get started with our fun folds. We've got crushed curry cardstock. This is 4 1/4 by 11 and it's scored at 5 1/2. We're going to go ahead and burnish that score line with the bone folder, and we're going to make the split front for our card. All right, I'm going to go take this to my paper trimmer, and I'm going to open the card fully. I'm going to cut 2 inches off of the bottom. Hold on to this piece, and now I'm going to turn this, line up my fold on 2 inches, cut. This is a scrap you can use for another project. Now we've got our split front card. Let's go ahead and add some Designer Series paper. Our Designer Series paper is from the Delightfully Eclectic paper pack. It's a wonderful pack of eclectic patterns. You're going to need 2 pieces that are 1 3/4 by 4. I've got these 2 that are featuring the lemons, and let me show you the back side of those because we're about to glue them down. Love that daisy. We're using this daisy in the Just My Type Stamp-A-Stack. This paper is so awesome. All right, we've got liquid glue on both of these panels, and we're just going to center them. One on this cutoff and one on this flap. I think the easiest way to center this one so you can see is to just open up the card wide. All right, there is our Designer Series paper. Now we can line the inside of the card with a piece of basic white, and this piece of basic white is 4 by 5 1/4. Before we glue it down, I'm going to stamp my greeting. This way, if your greeting isn't perfect, you can still flip it over and take another try at it. If you glue it down and then stamp it, you're kind of stuck with it. So line up. You can use something here to hold down the flap. We're going to get Thanks a Bunch and some garden green ink. And since Sweet Citrus is photopolymer, we're going to pop the whole thing up on a Stampin' Pierce mat just to get the best possible impression. All right, we're going to ink our stamp centered top to bottom, but way off to the right over here. And if it turns out great, then you glue it inside the card and you don't have to worry about any deconstruction. Let's get that glued in. And then we're going to set our card base aside and do some stamping. All right, it's looking good. I've got Garden Green, Lemon Lolly, and Daffodil Delight. Got a piece of basic white cardstock. This is a 1/4 of a sheet, and we're going to do our lemons here. Got the peels, and we're going to do the peels with Daffodil Delight. You've got to be careful when you're inking these up because this is going to be a solid lemon here, and you want to make sure that you don't see the ink pad lines. Ink well and ink all the parts. If you have to, just do that one little piece with a little extra. All right, we're going to stamp on the white. Let the ink transfer, especially on this solid lemon. We want a nice yellow lemon. Lift. And now for this 2-step stamping. So here's the fruit for our lemons. We're going to do those in Lemon Lolly. We want to ink those up well too. And then line up centered. And just take your time. Make sure everything's got that nice little white border like the pith that the citrus has. And when you got it, place it. All right. Now, I'm going to use the edges of this to stamp 2 leaves with garden green on the scrap. And I'm going to bring in a scrap of lemon lolly, and we're going to stamp some flowers. So here's a little cluster of flowers. We're going to stamp Daffodil Delight on lemon lolly. Now the flowers have the centers for the small flower together on one stamp. So you'll ink and then line up the centers for the 2 little flowers. Sometimes I have to flip it over to get it really in center. Hopefully that's pretty good. Yeah. And then the bigger center is separate. And just stamp the flowers. All right, I did some die cutting ahead here. We're gonna do a greeting. I've got these 2 little banners. I love these little banners. They're such a cute accent. These are the smallest double-stitched fishtail banner from Nested Essentials. This one's Old Olive. This one is Basic White. I'm going to stamp this high greeting on the white banner, low of center. All right, so we've got our little high greeting. Let me show you where that came from. That is from the Just My Type stamp set. All right, let's get our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and cut out our bits. Our Sweet Citrus is a hybrid embossing folder, which means that you emboss and cut all at the same time. So let me show you that. We're going to start with 1, and then we've got our lemons and leaves. We want to take the leaves off. Set these aside. We're going to die cut them separate with the flowers in just a minute. It doesn't get embossed and cut. Now we've got our embossing folder, and from the dies, we've got the one that cuts the multiple shapes. We're going to pop this right in. Now you'll see that it doesn't fit any way except for the right way. All right, so just there is only one way that it'll go in and it'll actually close. Do you see that? So you've got the Stampin' Up side, and then it just fits right in between the details. Now that you've got that, you're going to line up your stamping inside the die like you would any other die. When you've got it all lined up so that everything's right where it belongs, then you close the folder. Pop the folder onto 1, so it's 1, your folder, then 4. You're going to give that a crank, and it is going to cut out your lemons and emboss your lemons at the same time. You're going to love this. This is a fantastic product. All right, so slide that aside. I'll open this up and take a look at this. So our half a citrus not only is cut out, but you'll see there's an awesome flesh texture on the peel. It's got kind of a citrus peel texture, and the fruit has all the little segments. It really is amazing. If you haven't used one of these hybrid embossing folders, you really should check it out. And the lemons are fantastic because they're so versatile. You can do all kinds of treat packaging and stuff with lemons. So if you're on the fence about trying one of these, I highly recommend the Sweet Citrus hybrid embossing folder and the stamp set as maybe your step into the hybrid world. It's really very cool. This bundle comes with 2 dies for the flowers and 2 dies for the leaves, which makes making multiples much easier. I love that. We're going to die cut the leaves and the flowers, and this is just standard die cutting now. So we're back to our standard sandwich with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. The 1 and 2, then we've got a 3, which is our cutting pad. We're going to do our cardstock and our dies, and then a 3 on top. All right, standard die cutting. Let's give that a crank. And now we've got our leaves and flowers. I love these little flowers, they're the perfect accent. So we need the slice and we need the lemon. And by the magic of television, I have another lemon here. This would require another pass through the machine. So whenever I make all of them. You could just use a little scrap in the place of the one that you need. Absolutely. But what I do, because that's just the way I am, I do all the extra pieces and then I put them in a little bag and keep them for future projects. And it really does make sitting down to craft really easy when you can just flip through all the spare parts that you have and put together a project pretty quickly. All right, let's bring our sample back in our split front card. Now to get the split front card together, we're going to use these irregular hexagons. I went ahead and cut these from the Nested Essentials. And I've got 2 of the largest cut from crushed curry and 1 of the second largest from basic white. And we want to layer 1 of the crushed curry with 1 of the white. I'm going to use some liquid glue for that. And then we're going to do our fiber treatment next. There's just something about this paper, this card. I wanted kind of almost like a shabby chic fiber treatment. And so I grabbed my Ribbon Duo. This is called the Ribbon Duo Combo Pack. It's brand new in the 2023-2024 catalog. It's got this lemon lime twist stitch and a striped petal pink ribbon. Really an awesome pack. Great colors. Perfect ribbon, whether you get, it's part of the zoo, the Zany Zoo, the Zoo Crew suite. Whether you are interested in the Zoo Crew or not, this is really good ribbon. Perfect match, Stampin' Up colors, and just a great ribbon combo pack. And then I've got linen thread. And what we're gonna do is wrap a couple of times with linen thread down low, and then we're gonna tie a bow. And you're gonna see we're gonna have like a triple bow thing going on here, which is gonna give that fun shabby chic texture. So there's our first bow. We're gonna trim that from the spool. Set aside your linen thread here for a minute. And then I'm going to slide this so that it's off center a little bit. I want the bow off center just a bit. And I'm gonna slide my stripe ribbon underneath. I'm gonna loop up and then swoop over the top. Tuck, pull, and now we've got the 2 textures like a double bow. And we'll pull that tight and trim from the spool. All right, let's make sure our layers of fun fiber are showing. Now, the tags that we made, let's deal with those next. I'm gonna drop a little bit of liquid glue on high, mat it on the old olive. Got a 1/8 inch circle punch. I'm gonna punch a little hole in these. There's our little matted tag now. Let's grab some linen thread and we're gonna spool through front to back on the tag. Slide underneath the bows, just lift and slide. Then we're gonna tie the tag on. All right, once you've got the tag on, then we're gonna make a big bow. Nice and loopy. Now we're starting to layer the textures of the different fibers. Pretty cool, huh? All right, let's grab the largest of our flowers and a glue dot. Got some mini glue dots here. We're going to use this to kind of accent the middle and distract from that hole. So just pop that right on. Pretty good. Now let's assemble our split front card. So to assemble our split front card, what I did was I took my irregular hexagon and liquid glue. I'm gonna line up the bottom panel on my split front. I'm going to hold down the top panel on my split front. I'm using a bone folder there. You can use your scissors, but it's good to have it held down for you. Get that extra hand, and then adhere so that it doesn't cover your greeting, and use that liquid glue. Now your split front card is not split front anymore. But to further secure, let's make sure everything, I like liquid glue for this because then we can make sure everything's square. Once we've got everything square, then we can take this irregular hexagon. We're going to put glue on the back, liquid glue, and we can be generous here with the liquid glue. We're going to open our split front card, and then we're going to line up the points of this hexagon and glue down. So now we've reinforced and cleaned up the inside. Now if you wanted to here, you could add another layer of white, maybe put another little message in here, a picture of a grandkid, or put some more lemons. You can decorate that one too if you like, but if you don't want to decorate that one, it's just giving you a clean finish and a sturdy split front card. All right, let's get our lemons on here and embellish. I'm going to put my first lemon down with some liquid glue, so we're starting to build some depth. And I'm going to put my first leaves down with some liquid glue, and the leaves are going to go, well, the points all the way to the end, if not past the end of the hexagon. So be careful where you're putting your glue here. Pop the leaves, and then the lemon. Pretty cute. Now let's get some dimensionals. I've got some regular ones here. Let's cut them in half. And for this guy, what I'm gonna do is put my cut dimensional way down at the bottom, and then add my leaves, because they're going to go off the edge entirely. You don't want to glue your card closed here. Be careful about that. And I didn't burnish it down too hard at this moment, because I also want to make sure that once I put this lemon on, I like the overall arrangement. I might have to shift my leaves a little bit. Yeah, see, I want to pull them down just a little bit. So if you don't squish down too hard on your adhesive, you got a little room to wiggle. Now we're going to put some dimensional on the back of our slice and add that one. Just love all the different arrangements you can do with the different shape fruits and fruit slices. I want little dimensionals here. I want a half actually of mini dimensionals on the back of these little flowers. Now what I like to do is put the mini dimensional, the half a mini dimensional where I want the flower, and then add the flower, and that way I get perfect placement. And then this one here too, another, do the same with the little flower. Isn't this a fun fold? There's our arrangement. Now to finish it up, what is a beautiful card like this without a little bling? So I've got the pastel adhesive back sequins. I'm going to use these pink ones, and there's larger and smaller ones. I'm just going to kind of scatter them around. Got 2 here, and then I'm going to do 5 all together. So 2, 3 up here. And there is our Thanks a Bunch Sweet Citrus split front card. All right, you guys, if you've got any questions about the project, you can email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. And to shop Stampin' Up 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.